All right, welcome to the Daily AI News Digest for Friday, February 13th, 2026. Something big just happened in the world of AI. And no, we're not just talking about another minor update. We are witnessing a historic shift, a move from, playful experimentation to a super high-stakes industrial scale race for dominance. So let's break down what this really means. Okay, so let's dive right in. This quote from today's Press Digest really just sets the tone perfectly. We are moving way beyond simple chatbots here. We're talking about sovereign-level infrastructure and something called agentic systems. These are AIs that can reason, plan, and act completely on their own. The game has just fundamentally changed.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 4 huge shifts. First, the new sovereign-scale AI race. Second, what we're calling the Great Hardware Split. Third, a really widening capability gap. And finally, the emergence of a truly bipolar AI world.
All right, first up, what's driving this massive shift? Well, it all comes down to money. And I mean, just staggering amounts of it. The AI race is no longer just about who has the cleverest algorithms. It's about who has access to nation-state levels of capital.
Okay, get ready for this number. $380 billion. That is the new valuation for Anthropic after a record-shattering $30 billion funding round. This isn't just a big number. This is the new reality. It's the new price of admission for anyone who wants to compete in the AI space.
So you might be asking, how in the world did they get to a valuation that high? Well, it's not just hype. Take a look at their revenue. They're on track to make $14 billion this year. That is a 14 times increase in just 1 year, and it's all driven by the strategy of charging a premium for highly accurate enterprise-grade AI. And listen, it's not just about the software. The race is seriously on to build the physical world infrastructure to power these AIs. Now, look at this number, $10 billion. That's the price tag for just one of Meta's new data centers. One. This right here is the new bottleneck. We've totally moved beyond a compute arms race and straight into a power arms race. A single one of these data centers will use as much electricity as a small city. So what's the new competitive advantage? It's simple, securing a massive, reliable source of power. So all that power is for the hardware, of course. And that's exactly where we see our next huge shift. The semiconductor industry is moving on from a simple problem of, scarcity to what you could call a full-blown war of different chip designs and architectures. You see, for these AI chips to get faster and faster, the memory that feeds them data also has to get way faster. And today, Samsung announced a major breakthrough. They are now mass-producing a new kind of memory that's 40% faster than the previous generation. This isn't just a small step up, it's a giant leap that is going to unlock the next generation of AI. But here is where we see the first major crack in Nvidia's total dominance. OpenAI just released a new model, and guess what? It's running on chips from a company called Cerebras. And just look at the difference here. The Cerebras chip is basically an entire silicon wafer, packing 4 trillion transistors. The result? Absolutely insane speeds of over 1,000 tokens per second, which is perfect for real-time applications like coding. And this right here is the headline. For the very first time, a premier flagship model from the industry leader is running on something other than Nvidia. This totally validates the idea that different AI jobs need different kinds of tools, and it marks the beginning of a major hardware diversification strategy across the entire industry. This brings us to our third big theme, what these incredibly powerful new systems can actually do. And honestly, we are seeing a massive gap opening up between the frontier of research and, well, the consumer tech we have in our pockets. On the one hand, you have these mind-bending breakthroughs like Google's new Alethea model. And let me be clear, this is not a chatbot to help you with your homework. This is an AI agent that is conducting high-level mathematical research completely on its own. And its achievements are just breathtaking. It's solving problems that have stumped human mathematicians for years, it's writing its own research papers, and it's performing at a doctoral level. AI is literally graduating from a tool to a peer-level collaborator in the world of science. And then you've got the other side of the story. While one AI is pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, Apple's much-hyped, ambitious Siri 2.0 upgrade has just hit another roadblock. So why the struggle? Well, this slide shows it's not simple at all.
trying to integrate this new kind of generative AI into a super complex, privacy-focused operating system that millions and millions of people depend on every day is just incredibly difficult. It really highlights this widening chasm between pure research and a reliable consumer product. Okay, so we have sovereign scale capital, we've got diversifying hardware, and we have these diverging capabilities. Our final section looks at the inevitable result of all of this, a geopolitical battle for who gets to write the rules for this powerful technology.
The UN General Assembly just voted, and overwhelmingly, I might add, to create a global scientific panel on AI, an independent body to advise the world on all the risks and opportunities. And as you can see, the support was almost unanimous. Almost.
Because one of those two no votes was the United States. In a very pointed statement, the US flat out rejected the panel, arguing that global bodies shouldn't be the ones to dictate AI governance. This creates a really major rift in how the world is approaching AI policy. And this table here, it really clarifies the new world order. We are seeing a bipolar AI world emerge. You've got the US pushing for a national, private sector-led approach. Meanwhile, China is backing the UN's multilateral framework, positioning itself as a leader for the global south.
And all of this is having a huge impact on the stock market. There is a new phrase that traders are throwing around: software Armageddon. Investors are waking up to the fact that the next generation of AI agents can do the work of dozens of existing software tools, and they are selling off stocks of any company that looks vulnerable.
The really crucial point here is that 2026 has become the year of the bottom line. The hype is officially over. Now it's all about whether your company's business model can actually survive in a world of increasingly autonomous AI agents.
So, to sum it all up, here are the 4 key takeaways from today. First, the capital required to compete is now at a sovereign scale. Second, the hardware landscape is finally diversifying away from a single monopoly. Third, capabilities are splitting, with a massive gap between frontier research and everyday consumer tech. And fourth, global governance is fracturing into competing blocks. Which leaves us with this final critical question. This technology is no longer just a tool. It's a new form of power, operating at the scale of nations. And as we've seen today, the biggest fight of the 21st century might just be over who exactly gets to write the rules. Thanks for joining this explainer.